And I think we are, well, we should be absolutely live. We said we'd be here at 7:30. It is 7:30. Welcome, everybody. My name is Ross from Act On This. This is the first ever live broadcast that we have done. The amount of work that has gone into this is a bit ridiculous, including a last-minute change of location to get our special guest tonight some better Wi-Fi. Here she is. You'll know her from all sorts of amazing programmes, particularly Hollyoaks, playing Mitzeee for the last 2.5 years. It's Rachel Shenton. Wait, Rachel, welcome.
Hello, thank you for having me. You nearly didn't. Hello.
We nearly didn't. It was touch and go. We had 8 minutes, but we did it, and we're here. We're live, and hopefully everybody out there can now hear us. I think there's about a minute delay between us recording, just in case, you know, like later on when you're doing stunts, in case you died live on air. We just, you know, there's a minute delay just so that people don't have to see that. Apart from that, we're pretty much live.
Amazing.
There's not going to be any stunts, really. So, everybody, yeah, let me just tell you a little bit about what we're going to be doing. We're going to be online for about, well, mate, an hour and a half, maybe, depending on how long we can bribe Rachel to stay. What do you reckon, Rach?
I think an hour to an hour and a half is fine.
That's absolutely fine. Maybe longer. Depends what we're talking about.
Whoa, an hour to an hour and a half.
It's all going to be acting related. I've got loads of questions here that people have already submitted on email, but people can submit questions for Rachel right now. So if you're an actor and you've got any questions on the acting industry, any questions about Rachel's career, anything at all, agents, casting directors, auditions, anything whatsoever, you can do that by tweeting us. You can see up here, at Act On This TV. If you tweet us now, I can see it. I've actually got a screen up here with all our tweets that are coming in. So if you've got any questions at all that you want to ask, make sure you get those in, and we'll try and answer as many as we can. It's all about you. It's interactive, and it won't work unless you join in. So please join in. Right, Rach. I mean, let's begin. What we're going to do is I'm going to go through. I've got so much here that's all like written down so precisely, like 8:35 to talk about this. I mean 7:35 to talk about this. 7:40 to talk about this. It might not go that way, but we're going to see. We're going to see what happens. Before people, you know, whilst people like, you know, get used to this, get tweeting now, and things are coming in. Let's just talk a little bit about something that's not entirely acting related, but I find incredibly interesting. You're going to climb Mount Kilimanjaro in what, 2 weeks? Less than 2 weeks?
Yes, 2 weeks. Yes, I fly to Tanzania on the 19th of this month. So I'm really
tell us about it. How has it all come about?
Well, I'm ambassador of the National Deaf Children's Society, and I get my hands dirty and get involved with every event that they do, really. I've done a couple of skydives and abseils and things like that, and of course this seemed like the right thing to do, so I signed myself up 12 months ago, and now it's come around and I'm getting a little bit nervous.
Wow. So how's like a lot of training goes into that? You got to get fit, do a lot of walks?
Yeah, I've been getting fit for the last, well, I mean, I keep fit anyway, but I'd say I've made a concerted effort to get fit for this climb for the last 6 months. So I feel pretty prepared, I think, as prepared as I can be.
6 months training. I've done marathons. 6 months training. Well, it's a bit harder than a marathon, I think, but I did 6 months training. You'll be good to go. Easy. Easy, definitely. So that's very, very good. If you want to help Rachel, by the way, and you want to donate any money to the National Deaf Children's Society,
yes.
How can they do that? What's it, Just Giving? It's justgiving.com. Yes, I've got here.
Yes, it's justgiving.com/Rachel Shenton 1.
Rachel
hyphen Shenton 1. Or we have a text number as well, so they can text NDCS 61 and the amount that you want to donate to 770, and that just comes off your bill at the end of the month.
So say that again. Get texting now, kids. Say that again.
Get texting. You can text any amount you want. So you go NDCS 61, the amount that you want to donate, and send it to 770, and that will come off the end of the bill at the end of the month. So
effectively, it's like not even spending any money yet. It's free, effectively. Just, you know, you'll never miss it. It's part of your bill. Just pay it. Get a few quid in. Definitely. What's your target? How much are you expecting to raise?
Well, I said I'd like to get 5,000, and I've done that now. We're above that, so yeah.
Wow, awesome. Well, there you go. Well, let's make it 10. Fingers crossed, everybody.
I'd love to, yeah.
You've got 107,000 followers on Twitter. If everybody just donated £1.
I know. I always say that. I know. That'd be great, wouldn't it?
7 grand. That would be amazing. Definitely. Right. So let me just have a little check. Let's just see how we're doing for tweets. And then we'll move on. As I say, I've got loads of questions that people have already submitted that I really need to ask you as well. But let's just make sure that people are watching us effectively. Basically just send us a tweet to say that you are watching and that we're live. There we go. Oh, there you go. Danielle has already put, are you nervous about climbing Mount Kilimanjaro? I presume that's because she's just heard us talking about Mount Kilimanjaro. So that's a good sign. So we are live, and that should all be absolutely. Whilst more tweets come in, we're going to look at those in a minute. We've actually got some Twitter rounds later on that we're going to be doing for like 15 minutes where we just go straight to Twitter. Let's go through some of the questions that people have asked you from the Act on This community, because it's all about them, effectively, and helping them get further in their acting careers. So let's not ask the obligatory. You've been asked a million times before, oh, how did you get into acting? As in, like, you know, when did you decide you'd be an actress? It's a little bit boring, that. I want to know when you realised that acting for you as a career was viable in terms of, we all go through this thing when we first start out acting going, I'd love to do it, but realistically, can I actually earn a living out of it? Can I survive in this industry that is ridiculously harsh? When did you actually realise you went, you know, this is something realistically that I can do as my career?
I think I probably realised that. I was so fortunate because I think I might have realised that quite early on, because I've never wanted to do anything else since I was little, and I got involved with a theatre company, professional theatre company, when I was 17, and we toured with them doing it at different venues, London Fringe and Edinburgh Festival. Obviously, is such a notoriously famous festival.
Massive,
lots of agents, lots of contacts go there, and it was a paid gig, and I was 17. So I guess from that point on, I sort of thought, I can do this. This is me now. Naively, I thought, hey, piece of cake.
This is it. I've been paid. This is what it's like every week.
I've been paid. It's going to be like this forever. Yeah, it was 8 weeks, 4 weeks in London and 4 weeks Edinburgh, and various venues played. We're not a band. We performed in Buxton and various venues throughout England. But yeah, that was brilliant. And actually, the theatre production manager who put it all together, it was her idea. She took the idea right from conception. Is Betty Hand, who used to teach Judy Garland and a very young Liza Minnelli.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
There you go. Well, that's quite
cool.
Prestigious then.
I know, it was great.
Very nice, very nice. So starting off, like, I mean, obviously 17, you've been paid. You know, that's a good start.
I thought that's winning. Yeah.
You're winning at that point. That's how winning is done. How do you kind of progress your career back then? So in terms of starting off, how did you deal with? We get asked to act on this all the time from people new to the industry about getting representation. You know, struggling to get an agent, and even when they've got an agent, you know, getting that balance right between kind of letting your agent do the work for you, but then being proactive still yourself to, you know, to try and procure work as well. What was it like for you starting off with agents and training, and, you know, kind of, you know, just getting your foot kind of on the ladder, I suppose?
Well, I think because I started to answer the training question, because I started so early, I didn't train per se. I didn't go and do 3 years at a drama school, but I did always do the American way, and I did class. So I would go to Manchester School of Acting. I trained at David Johnson, went to various classes at the Actors Centre in London, and made sure that I did that sort of twice a week, once a week. I think that's really, really important. Yeah,
definitely.
So, and I still train now. I think that as always, it doesn't matter what level you get at. I think you can never have enough training. So that was that. And then with my agent, I guess I was lucky, because I had drama lessons with Amanda Andrews Drama School, which is a local school, when I was younger. She then decided to set up an agency and take on just a handful of her students and ask them to audition for the agency.
Okay.
Fortunately, I was one of them. And yeah, it just went on from there, really, because Amanda got me the first job with Betty Hand, the paid job, when I was 17.
Yes, big shout out to Amanda.
I guess it was
quite.
Yeah, I guess I was quite lucky, because I know it can be really difficult to actually get the initial representation.
I think it is. I think, you know, we get a lot of people who, I don't know, kind of, it's very tempting, isn't it, to just jump at the first offer of representation, and that might not always be like, you know, the right offer. So if you get with an agent initially like you did and it worked out, I mean, you know, it's a really lucky situation, really, because it doesn't always seem that way. Sometimes you have to go through 2 or 3, you know, different people until you realise.
Yeah. Hugely. I think it's so important that your agent knows what you can do and knows ultimately what you want to do, but also your range and what are your strengths and weaknesses. And because Amanda had taught me for so many years, that was really easy for her. So I felt like it worked so well, because the roles she was submitting me for, I was doing really well. I was getting recalls or getting them, and that was simply because I believe our relationship was so good and she knew exactly what I could do. So I think that's imperative. So I think it's not about I mean, although it's very tempting, I would imagine, to just go with the first agent because, yes, you've got representation. Then that relationship is absolutely crucial.
It's, no, definitely it is. It's essential. Yeah, absolutely essential for a successful career. Your early career. Let's move into kind of the little bits of TV you did initially, because obviously you did your theatre at 17. You've been paid, so that's a bonus. But to get into TV then, because I mean, credits involved here. I've got Holby City, Waterloo Road, Doctors. How long did it take you before you were kind of getting seen for that kind of stuff? Was that quite a bit later on, or?
I was 18, so not
that long.
Not really, no. I mean, and I keep stressing that. I think I've been very, very lucky. I think luck's got a lot to do with it. But like I said, my agent at the time, Amanda, who's still a very good friend of mine, knew exactly what I could do. So the roles that I was being submitted for, I would generally at least get a recall, or and in the case of Doctors in Holby City, get them because I was right for them. So I think I did the theatre tour. Then I think I did a couple of commercials, like bits and bobs. I remember doing a DFS commercial. And
nice.
Then,
we've all got those in our career.
And then I got the audition for Holby City, which was kind of a big deal because it was my first guest lead, and that was a really big deal because essentially, obviously, a guest lead, the story, for those who don't know, the story is about you. So that was a really big deal for me. Got that, and off the back of that, the director recommended me for a role in Doctors, and I went and auditioned for that. So that was kind of off the back of that, really, which I guess that's how it works.
Absolutely, yeah. So you get a recommendation from one director, and
I still had to audition, obviously, but that's how I heard about the second one. Yeah.
So let's talk about those initial auditions then. How do you prepare for auditions? Is it changed? Like, obviously as your career's progressed, do you do anything differently now than what you did then, or do you find that you're not as nervous anymore? Or maybe...
God, no. I think it's got worse. Because I was younger, so you have like the arrogance of youth, and I kind of had, like I said, I think I've been so fortunate, to have been working since I was 17. So I used to go, and I guess I think back I was quite confident, and if I didn't get the job, it didn't really matter. I was having a good time. I was only 17, 18, so it was great. I
think that's the right attitude, though, isn't it? Because I think as you get older, this is like as kids where we have no fear. And you just go in and you do it. That's why I think I will read in at auditions quite a lot for some casting directors, and especially when we're auditioning kids, they come in and they just take it so in their stride. They're not bothered. They just come and have a laugh, and their performances are great. And then when you see, like, you might see half an hour later we'll transition from the kids to coming in and reading, for the adult parts. The adults seem to deal with it far less well than the children do.
Yeah, I can totally see that. Yeah, kids are quite resilient and don't really let things bother them, do they? They'd probably be thinking about playing out with their mates that night.
Exactly, that's what we all need to do. We all need to think about playing out with our mates, not worrying in auditions. I think that would help. That would help immensely. Definitely. Yeah. I remember, I've known you a while now. I remember when I was talking to you about, like, you initially getting in Hollyoaks and that kind of thing. You were saying before you had the audition for Hollyoaks, after you'd had that initial flurry of work, suppose, there was a little bit of a kind of, as we all get, a bit of a barren patch, a bit of a wait, before that audition. What were you doing in that time to kind of keep focus? A lot of people, again, I hear them on the site all the time and that's on this, and when work's not coming in, it can be quite difficult, in terms of the motivation to carry on. A lot of people, on numerous occasions think, is it worth it anymore? Should I just get a real job? How did you deal kind of like with the highs and the lows? Because you'll go from, 3 big jobs, pretty big jobs on Holby, and then go, 6 months, 12 months of not very much.
Well,
how do you keep busy?
I did. I was very, very lucky again. From 17 to, I'd say, about 22, I was working and doing different TV jobs, theatre, the odd commercial, things like that. Can you hear me?
Yeah, absolutely. I
thought we went off of it then.
Listen intently.
And then I think 20. Yeah, when was it? When would that have been? 2010, 2009, sometime around that time. I went really quiet. I mean, I guess it was like all over the news and stuff that recession had hit, and the arts were making huge cutbacks and things. And I knew that I could potentially be affected, but I didn't expect it to be as bad as it was. And I guess at that time I'd changed agents as well, so I was questioning whether it was the business or whether it was because I'd changed agents. And essentially, I don't think I worked for about 10 months. And it was never like, I never had a backup plan. I never thought, I know I'll go and do something else, because it just wasn't an option. I auditioned for drama school. It was always something that I wanted to do, but because I'd been working so much, I didn't actually have time. So I thought, brilliant, this might be the right opportunity to go to drama school. So I'd auditioned for drama school, got in to drama school, got into 3 and was making my choice, and was going to go in September. And then I got Hollyoaks in the July, so I didn't end up going.
Wow. So you'd thought, not getting the work in, right, I'm going to go and train for 3 years, spend a fortune, as I have done. And then fate stepped in and gave you that audition. Let's talk about that audition before we go to Twitter round 1 that I've got down on here, that should start around about 8 o'clock to my itinerary. Let's just talk about that audition then for Hollyoaks. How did it come about? And just tell us all about it.
It was really surreal. I think, if I remember rightly, I think I'd been called for a smaller role a couple of weeks before, but like I said, auditions had been really dry, so I'd possibly been, had been called for this audition. It was like 2 episodes in Hollyoaks to go in as some party planner. I think that's what it is. I remember the character description being like a gothic party planner, and thinking, I'm not really very right for it, but I've not had any auditions, so I'll go. And I thought I did a reasonable job, even though I knew that I probably wasn't right for the role. Didn't hear anything, and then a few weeks later I got called for this for Mitzeee, and all it said in the character description was she's a wannabe glamour model, models herself on Jordan, and that's pretty much it. So I thought, okay, great. Well, I mean, I don't look much like that, but we'll roll with this. So
work with it, definitely. I'd work with that if I got that brief now. I mean, that'd be fine. I'd go, all right, I'll give that a go.
You absolutely work with what you've got, and so I went, and it was a bit like a cattle call. There were a lot of people there, sometimes there's sometimes 5, maybe even up to 6, but there were a lot of girls there. I remember thinking, wow, and the girls were all so glamorous and stuff, and I probably felt very intimidated in the waiting room as you all sit there sizing each other up, and it's all very odd.
Yes. Exactly. I've been there lots of times. All looking at each other, you walk into a room and you go, there's like 10 of me in here. What's going on?
Yeah, there was probably more than that as well. And some girls that I thought fitted the role, or what I had of the vision of the role in my head, better than me, possibly. But I kind of knew that if I was going to play this role, I had to make it a bit more interesting for me, because she was very one-dimensional on paper, what this girl who wants to be a glamour model. So I sort of, as you do, to make it more interesting, just give yourself a bit of a backstory and make her real, essentially. And I was very happy with the version of her that I had for the audition. Went in and did it and thought, yeah, that's good, I'm quite happy. Read it again, so just twice through. Didn't really get that much feedback. Really couldn't call it, other than I was quite happy with my performance. And left, and just as I was pulling out of the car park, my agent called me and said, they really like you, so don't book another job. And I was thinking, well, I haven't had a bloody audit. Well, can I say bloody?
Yeah, it's fine. It's not after but it's only bloody. I've said it now.
It's only bloody. But I thought, well, I haven't had a bloody audition in a long time, so I'm hardly likely to book another job in, the next 2 days. But okay, great. Well, that's nice to hear. And they confirmed it that night. So
wow.
Yeah, it was really, really, really surreal. And initially, I think it was 6 months initially.
6 months, and then that led to because did your contract get renewed every 6 months, or did you get a year after that?
It did. I got a year after the initial 6 months. Yeah, and then
another 6 months.
And another one after that.
Another one. There you go. That's not bad. Wow. I mean, that's amazing. So they must have liked you. They phoned you on the day, because I mean, a lot of times, you'll be called back in for a screen test. You might audition, do a test with some other actors who are already in the show, that kind of thing.
Yeah, so. I guess so. But I suppose it's very rare that happens, and I was so grateful that it did. I couldn't quite believe it, because, like I said, I'd kind of got my life geared up to go to drama school. But I was so shocked, and I'm so grateful that they did that. But I think I guess they had quite. I guess I fit the remit. They had a good idea of what they wanted, possibly.
Who was casted at the time? Was it Dorothy Andrew?
It was Dorothy Andrews at the time. Yeah.
Wow, there you go. You must have impressed her. That's amazing. So you've gone. So there's a bit of a kind of like inspiration for anybody who's actually kind of like maybe had a 10-month dry spell, and is maybe planning to go to drama school.
Majorly, and I've done every job under the sun, like waitressing, working behind a bar, and all that kind of stuff, just to earn a bit of money. And that's kind of part of the acting business, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah, definitely. You've got to have a day job until you get a real job, until you get an acting job. Definitely, it's wow. So I mean, we'll talk more about when you actually you started in Hollyoaks in a second. Let's go over though. If I don't end up cutting myself off or somehow, let's go over to Twitter and see what's happening. Hopefully, there's lots of new interactions. Okay, yeah, there are. Tina Harris is here. Tina's a member of Acts on This. Good evening.
Good.
She's a lovely lady. She's commenting on everything. Well done, Tina. You're getting involved. This is what I like to see.
Good girl, Tina.
And there's that point 5 minutes ago. Oh no, it's gone off. Hopefully, it's not gone off now, Tina, and you're back on. Oh, back now. What a lovely, positive young woman. Look at that.
Oh, thank you, Tina.
That's amazing. Danielle's here again. Just paid my brother £1 to get my tea, so she doesn't miss anything. She just paid her mother to go out and get a tea.
Tell him to donate it to my climb.
Yeah, tell your brother, Danielle, donate that £1 that you've just paid him to what's the text number, right? Say it again.
It's to 770, NDCS 61, £1 to 770.
NDCS 61, £1 to 770.
70070, yeah.
Do it. We'll tweet about that later, definitely as well. Let's have a look. Ellie with 3 E's. Maybe that's a Mitzeee with 3 E's. Little tribute there. Was there this is interesting. Was there a particular Hollyoaks character you would have liked to have worked more with when you were there? We're going to talk about obviously you working there in a minute, but let's have a few Twitter questions that are a bit random. So what do you reckon?
That I would have liked to have worked more with.
Yeah, maybe someone who you didn't work so much with when you were there.
Well, no, I mean, actually, I think I was really lucky with the people that I worked with, and I probably wouldn't have chosen anybody else. Like, there were obviously a lot of characters you don't integrate that much with. Actually, yeah, maybe the one that I would have worked more with at the start was Alex Carter's character Lee. He was still there when I first started. I think we only had one scene together, but he's brilliant and he's hilarious, and I would have liked.
Is hilarious, yeah.
He's brilliant, yeah. And because particularly when she first started, it was a real comedic character. So I think I would have liked to have done a bit more with him. But other than that, I think I was pretty blessed with the people that I had scenes with. I always had good stuff with really strong characters. So yeah, I think I was blessed with that.
There you go. No, absolutely. And you was such a popular character that you played. I imagine you got to work with most of the cast. How many? Whenever I've worked on Hollyoaks, how many cast was there? Do you think over the 2 years you were there? Because last time I was there was 72 cast members.
Yeah, I know. I was just about to say. I think it got to 72. That was the biggest when it was, and that maybe was sort of 6 months before I left. So I would have said it's not far off that now. Again, it's a really quick turnaround though. It's quicker than the other soaps, because everybody's younger. I think so. General turnarounds like every sort of 3 years. They seem to have a big cull, don't they, and get rid of people.
Big change up. Get a new producer in. Boom. Half the cast gone.
Yeah.
Hello to you, Claire. I've not spoke to you in a while. Hope you're well. Claire says, hey, enjoying the broadcast. Rachel mentioned changing agents. How difficult was this before Hollyoaks? Because obviously, when you got the Hollyoaks job, and since you've left, you've changed agents. Have you changed agents once or twice, or you've moved to a London agent now?
I've had three agents altogether. Started with Amanda Andrews, then moved to somebody else that I didn't think very highly of, but actually got me the Hollyoaks audition, so I was grateful for that. Then about halfway through my stint at Hollyoaks, I decided that it was probably time to get a London agent, so I'm represented by Bloomfield's management now. I'm happy. So yes, 3 altogether.
3 altogether, and obviously when you've worked more, you've got more leverage, haven't you? I suppose you've got more currency to work with as your CV gets bigger.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah,
definitely. That's great. So you're with a London agent now? I
am with Bloomfield's management now. Yeah.
Awesome. Good work. Big shout out to you, Bloomfields. Sophie says, would you like to have played any other character in Hollyoaks? Was there anyone you thought, oh, God, I wish I had their scene. That was a good one. That would have won me an award. Or something like that.
Because that's what it's about.
Get those NTAs.
I don't know. Probably not. Because I think I really loved Mitzeee. And I think the nice thing about her is she was always very colourful and gregarious, but she also had another side where she was quite vulnerable, and you know, I've definitely done my fair share of crying. So no, actually, I really like Mitzeee. I mean, Brendan's a really, obviously, really popular character. Brendan's really popular, but I'm not a boy, so I couldn't do that character.
Couldn't do that one.
But if we had like a female Brendan, you know, like a villain, that might have been quite good, but there wasn't. So I was extremely happy with Mitzeee.
Can you do as an impression of Brendan?
No, absolutely. I'm absolutely not going to do that.
You so can. Rachel is quite amazing with accents and voices. It's actually insane. Later on, as a little treat, just before we go, we're going to get you to maybe do a bit of Cheryl Cole. What do you reckon?
All right. I'm not a performing monkey, Ross, but yeah, no problem.
Well, for me, you are. You are tonight. Definitely. We're not even paying you. Oh, by the way, though, we have donated some money to Rachel's charity for this, by the way. So we are giving something back. Yes. Absolutely. Everybody gets.
I wouldn't have done it if you didn't.
Everybody who works with us acts on this gets something back for it, definitely. Actually, genuinely, guys, all the money that is raised revenue-wise goes to charity by us donating it to the special guest charities. So by being a member and being part of the community, you're helping loads of amazing causes, which is great. Has said, I worked with Ashley TD, Taylor Dawson, on Northern Soul a while ago. He was great. What would you say is your ratio? Oh, what would you say is your ratio of castings to bookings? That's interesting.
Oh, yeah, that is interesting. I couldn't really give you a definite figure, unfortunately. Like,
I don't know what they even say. Like, you know, kind of like you should be hitting. I think it's something like, I don't know, what would be reasonable? I don't know. It depends how many you're having. You know, I mean, I roughly get maybe one casting acting wise, probably a month. Sometimes even less, 1 every 2 months. It depends, obviously. You know, I know you've been. We won't mention the name of the shows and stuff, but you've been for some pretty big ones recently, and that's all great. But I imagine, like, I don't know what the hit ratio should be. I think maybe sort of like 15-20%. Well, you can't have 15 because that'd be 1.5 parts for every 10 you went for. That'd be ridiculous. Maybe 2 to 3 out of 10 auditions. Depends how busy you are.
I just don't know if you can even call it either, because there are just so many factors into getting a job. It's not even, you know, it's not necessarily the right person or the best person for the job. It can go on other, you know, outside factors. Yeah. So I really wouldn't know what to say to that, to be honest. Sorry. Exactly.
It's a difficult one, that, Tina. But I'd say,
Tina,
I'd say if you're not booking 9 out of 10, you're failing, and you should probably give up.
It's 9 out of 10. That's what it is.
Definitely. I think maybe 1 in 10 is great for now. I don't know. It depends how many you go for in a week. Danielle clearly loves you. She just wants you to know that you'll always be her idol. That's lovely.
Oh, thank you. That's lovely. Thanks, Danielle.
Thanks for that, Danielle. Tina is. Claire, they know each other. She's so impressive. She can manage. Tina, this is like cutting edge, this. And I know before you said you were going to keep the page on because you don't want to make any mistakes that over 30 actresses make. But I'm 31 on Monday, so don't worry about it. Just roll with it. It's, age is nothing. It's nothing but a number. Christina would like to know if you would ever think about working on another soap now.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely would. I like what soap do. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't say no to that. Yeah, that's I can't elaborate any more than that. Right?
There you go.
I like what soap do. I definitely wouldn't rule that out. I think soap do great. I'm a massive Corrie fan, as everybody is in the north of England. So
it's well, Stuart Blackburn, exec producer of Corrie. If you watch this, because by the way, this broadcast is going to be recorded and it will be available on YouTube from tomorrow or Saturday perhaps. So, Mr. Blackburn, if you're watching, I'd like a part as well, but give Rachel a part. She deserves it. I am actually a huge Corrie fan. I do enjoy that. But yeah, I like what soap do. I think they do a great job, and it's very, very difficult with their schedule is really, really tight. Everything they have to cram in within that week, they absolutely stretched out to the max, and it's all hands on deck. So I admire soap for that, and I'm a fan. Absolutely. Well, let's leave the Twitter sphere for just a couple of minutes then, and go back to some of these questions that we've had from email, which are all about Hollyoaks.
Okay.
And the time. So we've heard about the audition, which sounded pretty amazing. I mean, that's an incredible audition. You obviously absolutely nailed it. Now let's hear about the realities then of working on such an established show. So I'm guessing your life changes pretty quickly. You probably end up, the first week you're there, or as your character's getting established, you're probably working more hours than you've probably worked in the last 6 months, kind of combined acting wise. What was it like for you? Was it daunting, you know, going at the green room that first day and going, right, I'm here and I'm going to be playing? Did you know the character was going to be as big at the time as well?
Oh no, I definitely didn't know that. No, I was brought in as a family as well. There was we were the Costello family. Well, I was kind of my surname wasn't Costello, but I was brought in with that family. I think I was meant to be like a distant cousin or something, but was never quite nailed down what relation I was. I don't think. So there was Rob Norbury, Miles Higson, Kim Tiddy, and Paula Pasick in the family. Oh, and the lovely Victoria Atkin came a couple of weeks later as well. And so I felt very reassured that I'd come in with other people. Had I not have been with that bunch, I think I would have been very intimidated. Yeah, because obviously, I mean, I'd watched Hollyoaks. I wasn't an avid fan, but obviously I've watched it as everybody has, and I knew faces, especially like Nick Pickard, who's been in it from day dot. Yeah, legend Nick Pickard. So seeing him in the green room at first was a little bit surreal, and I guess you always have that like new girl syndrome. It's like first day at school nerves and things like that. But you know, it's such a great place, such a cliche, but it's such a great place to work, and everyone's so friendly that quickly went, thankfully.
That's it. Well, I was saying, you know, obviously, you know, you didn't know at the time that Mitzeee was going to be so big. Over the 2.5 years that you were there, she obviously became a massive part of the show. You know, a huge character. How did you kind of develop her character in those initial days? I mean, did you leave that to the script writers for them to do that for you, or could you take ideas to the table and go, okay, I think we should go in this direction with her? And you know, how much did you play in that?
Yeah, you have a really big part to play, because all you get, like I said, all I got was literally 3 lines. It's just a little blurb about this is this girl called Mitzeee. The only thing that was written was she had 3 E's in her name, of course, because two just would never have been enough. And so she had 3 E's. She wanted to be a glamour model. Her idol was Jordan, and that is literally it. So that's up to me. But that's the best bit about the job, that I was able to go, okay, well, this can't possibly be it. And I never, for 1 second, I was so adamant that I didn't want her to just be that. I never wanted her to just be an airhead or just be, you know, I don't think that's very interesting. No one's one-dimensional. And I also wanted people to relate to her. You know, I think, so she'd created this alter ego for herself. Her real name was Anne, and she'd created Mitzeee as a kind of, I guess, escapism. She'd seen Jordan do it with Jordan and Katie Price. She'd done it very successfully and modelled herself on that. And the more we saw Mitzeee in the different situations she got herself in, that I think the layers started to come off, and we sort of saw a real the Anne at the end of my reign, if you like, in Hollyoaks.
The end of Anne's reign. Well, I remember the first day I met Anne on the set of Hollyoaks. I came into it just as I always get, coppers, CID, policemen, stuff like that. And this is when I first met you, and genuinely, I came onto the set. I'm not afraid to admit it. Having looked at who I was going to be working with, I looked up a few YouTube clips and thought, okay, let's see who these people are. And I thought, oh God. She's gonna be a nightmare. This girl's a wag. She's a glamour model. They've clearly just employed a girl who is like this, and this is what it's like. Right?
Cheers, Ross.
It's all right. It's a pleasure. But I walked on, and literally within 10 minutes, was like, oh my God, this girl is nothing like this. She's a real actress. This is like. You know, she's actually acting this part out. This isn't just, you know, a lot of the time what you see is kind of what you get with people. You know, they cast a type a little bit, I think, nowadays, and people are generally very similar, kind of when you meet them in real life. You were nothing like that at all. From an acting perspective, do you find kind of playing those outlandish characters who are further away from you easier? Because a lot of people would maybe find that harder, to go, oh, I've got to play someone who's really far removed from me, because you aren't this brash wag, crazy glamour model.
Thank God.
You know, you're very down to earth, lovely and nice. So, like, you know, how do you deal with that? Is that something you find easier, you know, doing things that are further away from you?
I personally do, yeah. I would say that I'm a character actress. Yeah, I think I definitely prefer to play a definite character that I can kind of lose myself in, really. And you know, I got to be totally ridiculous and extravagant with Mitzeee. She says things, especially at the start. I mean, she was so gregarious and colourful and brash and sort of, yeah. I hope everything that I'm not, and that was just brilliant. I guess the more she stripped away the layers, I guess it was more like me in those moments. But yeah, it was still very much a character. And I think because soap mimics real life, it's very rare that you get that opportunity to play a character particularly within soap, because essentially, you know, we are just playing, you know, somebody that works in a corner shop, and they're not normal people. So it's rare that you get the opportunity to play somebody who's a huge departure from yourself.
Well, yeah, and what's nice as well is it's kind of like, because in a weird way, obviously, you know, it's a bit of a caricature of, you know, of the entertainment industry, I suppose. But in terms of Mitzeee, she was, you know, wanting to be successful in her kind of, you know, glamour model career, or, you know, and stuff like that. In terms of, it almost mimics the struggle that you have as an actress in the acting industry. So it's almost like you're kind of acting, being an actor. I don't know, you know what I mean? It's kind of, there's similarities there, I suppose, that you can, you know, you can have a lot of fun with.
Completely, and I was really keen to mimic, to create her hunger for what she wanted to do. And albeit people can raise their eyebrow or frown upon it because it's not, you know, I guess she wanted to be a glamour model and take her clothes off, essentially. But I guess the thing that myself and her had in common was she was extremely hungry for that job and really wanted to do it, as I am as passionate about the acting business. So that was really, and I really wanted to get that across all the time, that, you know, so people could relate to her, that she wanted that as much as, you know, anybody else wants whatever their dream might be.
Yeah, no, definitely, because knowing you now, I relate to that in terms of, like, I know, you know, how kind of passionate you get, and, you know, looking back at scenes and things that you've done on there, there's definitely similarity. There's probably the only kind of similarity between you and the character that, you know, wasn't, you know, necessarily, you know, a character choice or whatever, was, you know, that kind of passion and drive, you know, to succeed, which is great, isn't it? That's really good.
Yeah, thank you. I think so.
Definitely. Just give you a little compliment there. Don't get a big head. Right. Just moving on to the third sheet. Look at this. We've got loads.
Brilliant.
There's so many questions. I just want to say thanks to everybody for submitting all these questions. It's brilliant. Keep tweeting, by the way. We're coming back to Twitter in a minute.
Thank you.
This one here, you got to work with lots of different directors on the show. How many directors were there at Hollyoaks over the time you were there?
Oh, wow. I don't know. I would like to say, I'd probably say I worked maybe 20 different directors.
Wow. Got any shout-outs for the best ones? Do you want to say hello to your favourites?
Yeah, oh, God, I don't want to miss anybody out there. That's the only thing. Who's my fave? Wow. Nigel Keane, he's amazing. Jordan Hogg, Dave Beecham. Paul Walker, who came on. Do you know what? Paul Walker came on to the first late nights I ever did, and he's a Shameless director, and he was absolutely brilliant. And really, because I was very, very fresh to the show. I'd only been in it 2 weeks before I started to do the late nights, so I wasn't established on screen at all. Oh, something's just popped up on my screen. I wonder what that is.
Oh, it's all right. I'm not seeing it. I don't think anybody else is.
I'll just ignore it. That just means I can't see your face now. But hey.
Oh right. Well, you can.
Every cloud.
Brilliant. Brilliant. I can talk you through the technological ways to minimise that. If you see, like, on the screen, because you're on a Mac, you'll see at the top left hand of that window, you'll see 3 little buttons: a red one, a yellow one, and a green one. Do you see that?
No, so it's fine. We'll just leave it.
Okay, we're going to say press the yellow one if you see it, but don't worry about it. You can't see me, but like you say, every cloud. So yeah, directors, we're talking about them. You work with so many, and I think that is the gift in soap, is that kind of like you work with so many different people, so you get different perspectives, you get, you know, you different kind of techniques with people. Some directors will be incredibly big on the shot and, you know, kind of making it all look right, whereas others just want a performance and they're not really bothered about what it looks like. What, in terms of kind of the directors that you work with, what do you think were the most important things that you took away? Was there anything that you thought, actually, I'm going to take that away from this director or that from that director? Is there any gems that you picked up along the way that you can share with us?
The probably is. I mean, I remember working with Paul Walker probably because it was my first experience, really, of working one-on-one with the director. I think I'd shot 2 or 3 scenes prior to the late nights, and the late nights obviously are a very separate to the show, so you're not even in the building, and it almost feels like you're on your own little shoot. And we're filming on location, and Paul Walker, who I really, really rate, he just he just made us save things for the take, which it's really, it's really tempting to kind of go for it in the rehearsal just to check that it works, but he'd always say, no, hold it back for the take, and it always kind of worked, and that really worked to keep it fresh. Wasn't really big on rehearsals either, and that kind of worked. But then I've had other directors that love to rehearse, and I always like to rehearse, and that kind of works as well. So I can't say that I've had one tip necessarily to. Oh, I actually have. So when I cry, generally.
Just gonna do this 1 second, just because I've not done this yet.
Way.
Brilliant. What's the tip?
I love it.
In fact, don't say it yet. I've got one other one. Are you ready? What's the tip?
Ta-da! I'm not sure whether we call it a tip, but just have your lines learnt before you get on set. It just makes everyone's life so much easier. And, you know, with soap, because it's turned around so quickly, and sometimes you get amendments in the morning, you've got to learn the scene by, you know, well, you have 5 minutes to learn the scene or whatever. It's so imperative that it's off book by the time you get there, because it just makes everyone's life easier. And obviously, you can't really emote, you can't really think where you're going to move next, you can't really do everything that you need to do if you're still holding the paper in your hand.
Yep.
That would be my only tip, is like, just prepare, just get yourself ready, know what you want to do, know what you want to say, and go to the scene with an idea for the director. Because, I mean, some directors are brilliant, just go, leave you to your own devices. I actually like getting direction, and I always say, can you give me something else, or am I doing this right, or whatever. But very often you're left to your own devices, so if you haven't prepped anything, you kind of come unstuck there. So my advice would be just always prepare. Exactly,
always prepare. Brilliant tip. There you go. Yeah, don't turn up without knowing your lines. God, that would be that's a nightmare. But I do see it happen often, and then you just go, you put in a terrible performance because you don't know what you're doing. Last question before Twitter round 2, Rach. So, if you could take, well, this is maybe a difficult one. If you could take one thing away from your time at Hollyoaks that put you in good stead as an actress in the future, what would that be? That's hard. One thing.
Yeah, there's probably several, but it's, I mean, I don't even know. Wow. Okay.
It's a bit of a big question, that.
It's quite a general question. Yeah, but I think that I've learned from Hollyoaks. Is that the question?
Is it, yeah, just as in one thing maybe, you know, that you would take away from the whole experience, you know, to stand you in good stead from the future. So whether that's kind of belief in yourself to go, I've done this, so moving on, you know I can do this, or, you know, it was something to do with how your acting has come on, improvements.
This is just on a personal note, but I think that there's not really very many jobs that require that much of you, unless you're doing soap. Because, I mean, at one point I was working 72 hours a week, which is brilliant because that's all you want to do as an actor, but it does drain your resources, and you're kind of quite tired and whatever, and it doesn't really leave much time for yourself. So I leave thinking, if I can do that, I can do anything. And
that's amazing. So 72 hours. So you would literally then finish scenes at night, go home, learn some lines, go to bed, get up, do it again, and nothing in between.
Yeah, pretty much. And there was a time for a while that we were doing weekend shoots as well. So even your weekends were spent filming, which you don't mind. Obviously, it's a great place to work. I'm never going to complain about working too much. It's brilliant, but it does leave other things have to go by the wayside. You know, seeing friends, seeing family, going to the gym, doing all those things that you would like to do sometimes have to take a bit of a backseat. And I don't think in any other acting job, certainly not for that length of time, would it be that demanding. So I leave thinking, well, I've done that, and that, you know, and I managed, and I think, you know, fingers crossed I did an okay job, so I could do anything.
Bring on anything. 16 weeks part-time on a drama. Walk in the park.
Piece of cake. You know,
Olivia Colman, your job's well easy. Get yourself in a soap, love, and that's hard work for you. I'll tell you that for nothing. Definitely. Right, I'm going to round 2 on Twitter, Rach. Here we go. Let's have a look. We've got more interactions. Oh yeah, right. Okay, let me rewind. Let's just rewind a little bit. Right, okay. What would be? Oh, this is Susie. It's a bit of a general one again. But what would be your ideal role? So I'm guessing. Let me elaborate on that then. I'll elaborate a little bit. Role, Rach. Now, of anything you've seen on TV, in anything,
Oh.
UK or American, what would it be? It's a tough one. I reckon like maybe Claire Danes in Homeland or something like that.
Yeah, I'll just have her job. Yeah, although do you know what? She's doing a cracking job herself.
She's amazing. She is amazing.
She's absolutely amazing. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Breaking Bad, Homeland, Dexter. Any of the above would be phenomenal. But I'm also a huge fan of period drama. So
Downton.
yeah, I mean Downton. Yes, like that would be phenomenal. Anything period would be great. Actually, I did to do a web series called Blood and Bone China, which was all set in Victorian times, and I loved it. The costumes were amazing. You kind of got, did a bit of research about what it was like then. It's just great.
I've seen it. I've seen parts of it. You have a really good period look to you as well, so you can do that.
Oh,
We'll speak to.
Can do that.
Julian Fellows, get you on Downton Series 5. It's starting in March. We'll sort that out for you. It's absolutely fine.
Thank you.
Absolute pleasure. Here we go. So other than acting, and we talked about the what you do, for deaf charities and stuff as well. You're a signer, British Sign Language interpreter as well, aren't you? So Susie's asked here, other than acting and being, a sign language interpreter, would there be anything else you would do career-wise? I don't think there is, because you've always said to me that you have no backup plan and this is it. This all or nothing.
Yeah, I don't have a backup plan. I think if you have a backup plan, that means at some point you're thinking about failing.
Fail, don't it?
Yeah, so I definitely don't have a backup plan. The sign language was a bit, I care very much about the deaf community, and I've been involved in the deaf community since I was 15, 16. So, which isn't that long ago.
You're not that old.
A fair few years ago, and so I'm very passionate about that, and it was something that enabled me to earn some money, support myself whilst being between acting jobs that I cared about, because before then I was, working in bars and restaurants and things like that till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. So at least with sign language I cared about it very much, and it gave me the freedom to audition and things like that. But if I had to choose something else, I really wouldn't know what to do. I think that's fine. I think acting's good.
That's absolutely what we'll stick to. Definitely. I've got no backup plan, and now I've got a mortgage. I'm thinking maybe that's a mistake. But yeah, basically, it's all or nothing with this. You either put your heart and soul into it, or you don't. And
yeah, I think so.
You've got to just go for it, haven't you? Absolutely. Laura said, if you were to get a job on Corrie, as we were talking about before, would you like to play somebody like Mitzeee, or would you like to play a character completely different? What do you reckon?
No, I definitely like to play something completely different. I think I've done Mitzeee tick. It was brilliant, but it would be very odd to play somebody similar to her, I think. So a big difference would be great, yeah.
It's absolutely. I'm trying to think what we could bring you in as, really. I'm sure there's got to be something, hasn't there?
I love it.
We'll definitely sort that out. Tim Paley's here. Tim, massive shout out to you. Tim's a great guy. He says, Rach, have you done any films, and is it something you'd like to do more of? So do you want to move away from telly? Yeah, what do you want to do? I mean, like, you've done TV for 2.5 years. Do you want to carry on with more? Do you want to do a bit more theatre? Or do you want to move into films? What would be ideal for you?
I have done a lot of telly. In fact, the bulk of my CV is telly, which is brilliant. You don't get to choose. We're not in a position to be picky, unfortunately.
No,
to a certain degree you are, but not. I'm not in a position to sort of, if a film came up, go, oh, actually, no, I'm rather busy this week. I don't think that would happen. But I would absolutely love to do some theatre and film. Yeah, I have done a couple of films. I have played very small roles in them. But I did one called Blood and Bone China, Blood and Bone China, the film. We shot that after I left Hollyoaks, actually, so not so long ago. That was a web series turned into a feature. And I did one about 6 or 7 years ago called Money Kills, that I think is out on DVD somewhere. So
I'm going to get that. Is it £3 in the bargain bin?
It probably won't even be £3. But yeah, that's right. So I have done a couple of films, and I would love to do more film, and definitely theatre. That's definitely, because I started off in the theatre, as I've told you now.
17, got your first paid job.
With a Betty Hands production. So yeah, theatre and film would be absolutely great. But I mean, like I said, I don't know if you, as an actor, you take the work within reason. If it's a good telly job, then I'm very happy.
Get it, take it, bank it, definitely. Zed, whoever Zed is, Zed, Twitter ID Pixie888, said, you can maybe give us a little bit of an insight in this if you want to talk about it. Would you go to USA and try and make it over there? Is that something you're planning on doing?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm British. I'm very proud to be British. I've never had any huge desires to, you know, crack America, but there probably is a plan to go to America at some point soon, just because something very exciting might be happening. Then I'd love to talk to you about it, but I'm not allowed.
Can do that. So yeah, maybe a trip to LA could be on the cards. So that would be something nice. I'd like to go one day if I ever get.
Come with me.
Yeah, I'll come with you. Come with you. If you've got room in your suitcase, I'll just jump in. I'll just stay in the hotel. Tina says, please can you shout out again the details to sponsor Rachel? Let's do that now.
Oh, thank you. Yes. So my Just Giving page is justgiving.com/Rachel-Shenton1, or you can text NDCS 61. The amount that you want to donate, so £1, £5, whatever, to 770 is the text number, and that comes off your next bill.
All your next bill, Tina. Boom. Don't worry about it for now. It's free cash.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tina. Sophie says, which actor or actress would you say has inspired you the most during your career? Is there any kind of like, because I've always said that if you see something that somebody does that's great, you can nick it because they've effectively they've probably nicked it from somebody else, to be honest.
Yeah, hugely. Yeah, I mean, but I always think if you're gonna nick it, only nick from the best.
Yeah, exactly, precisely. So who have you nicked from, or who would you like to nick from?
Someone who's average. When I grew up, I'm still a huge fan of Julie Walters.
Brilliant.
Comedy's probably my favourite area. It's my favourite acting area to perform and watch. I love comedy, and so she, you know, right from the early days, she's just done some phenomenal work and literally reinvents herself in every single role. I'm a huge fan of Julie Walters and David Jason as well.
Amazing. He's definitely one of my heroes. He's one of
great,
the only. Yeah. We were talking about him the other day. I think David Jason is literally still one of. I can't really think of many more people, or any more people really, who you see in. I mean, you can watch him as Del Boy in Only Fools and Horses, and I can see him as Granville in Open All Hours, or the little bit he did in Porridge, or as Inspector Frost.
Yeah.
And it's like you're not even watching the same man. I mean, that I think is like a real character actor, because there's nothing that. I don't know if there's much of himself he brings to any of the roles. He just is a completely different person in everything that he does.
He's really great, and I actually got to meet him at the NTA Awards 2 years ago.
Oh my God!
Such a big moment. I went over. I've never done it with anyone, but I went over like, oh my God, I'm such a fan, and he was so humble and lovely. So yeah, British actors and actresses. Julie Walters, I kind of grew up on Julie Walters, you know, reading her books, and I followed everything that she did, and I still do.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, there's so many in America to name. Like at the moment, I mean, I'm a huge fan of Claire Danes. I'm just a massive fan of Homeland. I think Damian Lewis is brilliant.
Damian Lewis is a legend. Yeah, very, very good.
Yeah, Tom Hardy smashing it as well. Like it's just there's so many. But if we're keeping it from when I was younger, I'll go with Julie Walters.
Julie Walters, she is good. She went to same uni I went to.
She did, yes, yeah, she
went
did.
to Manchester, yeah. Julie, come work with me. Give me a job. We go way back. Right.
I think you're over-egging it with this job thing.
I know, a little bit. Right, we're going to leave the Twitter sphere just for a second. It's competition time, guys. This is amazing. We've hooked up with two brilliant companies. The first one is a company that I just looked at their stuff online and absolutely fell in love with. They're called Startup Vitamins. If you go to startupvitamins.com, you'll see the posters. So all the posters that I have up in the background when I'm doing videos for the website through the week or on these broadcasts are all from Startup Vitamins. They're really good quality. Let's give them a little shout out. They're amazing. But they have like loads of amazing motivational quotes on. I mean, I'm kind of censoring this one on this side a little bit. But it's stuff that kind of you'd look at in the morning and go, right, okay, it just reminds you, get stuff done. Always deliver more than I'm doing it the wrong way around because it's mirrored here. It's like weather people where you're going, which way am I doing this on the weather? Yeah, get stuff done. Always deliver more than expected. There's other things like think bigger. It's not what you add, it's what you take away that counts. All this sort of stuff that's just, you know, motivational, interesting. They've given us 2 posters that I've got in this tube to give away tonight to just 2 random people on Twitter. I won't take them out because they're all packed away lovely, but they even come with little things to stick them on your wall with. One says think bigger, which is a nice one, and the other one is a replica of the same one as the always deliver more than expected. What we're going to ask, this is interesting, we're going to ask people to tweet us now their kind of like mantra or favourite, you know, quote or something that they live by. I've got one that Will Smith said, which I love, which is, and you know this one, Rach, as well. I've said this before. It's so good. I can't remember how it starts. It's hard work beats talent when talent isn't working hard. So effectively, it goes, it doesn't matter how successful you are. I mean,
hard work beats talent if talent doesn't work hard. Yeah. Exactly.
So yeah, it means it doesn't matter how much talent you've got. If you're not working hard and getting out there and showing people, then you know it's utterly pointless. Someone with less talent will get further than you if they're you know working harder than you. So tweet us now over the next sort of 5 minutes as we're having another little chat, and then we're going to have a look at the quotes, and then we're just going to choose one. Well, choose 2, and then we're going to we'll direct message you on Twitter, get your address, and send you a lovely poster. They're worth $35 each. It's got to be like 20 quid, that, isn't it? Something like that. That's a bargain. And now what we're going to do, whilst you're tweeting us those, we're going to give away, this is for the actors who are watching, our friends at Casting Networks. Let me just show, for those who aren't familiar with Casting Networks, let me share my screen with you and show you my profile on Casting Networks. Casting Networks, for those who aren't familiar with it, is a casting resource very similar to Spotlight. Spotlight is probably like the big one that everybody's heard of within the acting industry. If you're an actor, most people will be on Spotlight. Casting Networks is a brand new, they've been here about a year, it's the biggest kind of casting resource in America, in Hollywood, that have come over to the UK. They're absolutely brilliant. The guys there are just phenomenal. Big shout out to Marielle, Martin, the gang, everybody's brilliant. And they've been kind enough to give us a 1 year, a full 12-month unlimited media profile on Casting Networks, which means you can create your profile on there, you can apply for castings, your agent can submit you for castings through there. It's you know the full package. It's normally 120 quid a year, and we're going to give away 1 full year's subscription to a lucky winner. Let me just show you though what I mean by the full media. If I start a screen share here, Rach, you might not even be able to see this because is that window still in the way for you?
Well, I can't see you anymore. I can just see your headshots.
Oh, okay. Well, that's all right because yeah, that's fine because that's what I'm showing everybody. So, so this is my profile on Casting Networks. You'll see when you have a normal profile on Casting Networks, it's a free one because it is free to sign up. You can't add any media, so you can add 1 headshot, but you can't add any other extra headshots. You can't add your show reel or your voice reel, and you'll see these little play buttons that are next to each of my credits here. So if you were submitting for a casting and you wanted, you know, the casting director to, you know, maybe have a look at just 1 clip rather than looking through your entire show reel, you can send just particular clips off with your application, which is really, really cool. So if we click on, I don't know, let's have a look. Do you know what? I bet I've got that scene on here that me and you did.
Oh, have you?
That's amazing, isn't it?
Put it on.
I'm going to put it on.
I want to get rid of this box thing so I can see it.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, there it is.
Can you see it? Have you dragged the box on?
Yeah, it's very, very tiny though.
Oh yeah, no, it's only very tiny. Most people, yeah, you might not be able to see much of that. But yeah, so basically, you can add video clips to your credits. Oh. You can. I look really like going, what are you even talking about there? Let's close that down. But you can add headshots. You can add unlimited headshots, unlimited media, your voice reel, your show reel. It's normally £5 a month for photos and £5 a month for the media. We're giving you a year of both for absolutely free. It's worth 120 quid. Now, what we're going to do to do that is just effectively we're going to draw a tweet at random, Rach. How should we do this? What do you reckon?
Well,
Let's have a look.
You're going to have to do it. I can't see any tweets. So.
You can't see any tweets, but what I'll do is I've got my phone here. I'm going to share the Twitter account from my phone. We're going to scroll through, and you just shout stop. Wherever my finger stops is going to be the person. I will just specify, though, has to be an actor, because it's completely useless to you if you're not an actor and you've just tuned in because you had nothing to do on a Thursday night. So yeah, I'll make sure on your Twitter profile that it says that you are an actor, because obviously that's going to be of most benefit. So let me get this up. This is technology for you, the way this works. This is unbelievable. Let me see if I can share this with you guys now. Tina Harris will be so impressed with this because she loves technology. Start screen share. Boom. Can you see my phone? Can you?
I can't. Oh, yeah. There you go. Yeah.
There you go. Okay. Oh, there's Tina Harris. There she is. Wow, that is an amazing price for access. It is Tina. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to scroll through like this.
I just read one that says somebody feels like giving up. Don't give up. Just read that.
Oh, right. Okay. Don't give up, Ellie. Maybe that's a quote, though. Sometimes I feel like giving up. Then I remember that I have a lot of people to prove wrong.
Oh, yes. Brilliant. Good girl.
Exactly.
Good girl.
Prove them wrong, Ellie. Definitely. Do that. Okay, right. I'm going to... Oh, we got Maureen. Maureen by the second. Favourite quote. Be a human sponge, soak up the world, and fight to make it better. That's a lovely quote, isn't it?
That's a nice quote.
Right. Keep them quotes coming in. We're going to have a look at that in a second. Right, so I'm going to scroll down the phone. You say stop, and then I'm going to... Whatever my finger stops on, he's going to win the £120 subscription to Casting Networks.
Do it.
Are you ready for this?
Yeah, do it.
Okay, here we go. Shout.
Stop.
It's Tina.
Oh,
Tina, great and awesome.
Go.
Watch out. Superb questions and honesty, Ross. Tina Harris, you've just won a subscription to Casting Networks, 120 quid's worth for nothing. I'll follow you. I'm sure I'm following you already on Twitter. I'm following you already because you're a member on the site. I'm going to direct message you after this broadcast, get your details, and Marielle or Martin, the lovely people from Casting Networks, will be in touch with you to give you a membership for free. Yeah, I imagine you're probably on there. She's proactive actress. You can be on there anyway, but now you're going to be premium. Brilliant. So let's have a look now at what quotes we've got. I'll still give people a few extra minutes to get some quotes in to win the posters.
If I click OK on this box, will it go away?
Maybe. Just don't click like anything that says close or like stop broadcast or something like that. Otherwise, you could. Sure, you won't.
It says time machine couldn't complete the backup to my passport.
Click OK. That's just an Apple Mac thing. That's fine. Am I back?
You're back. Yes, you're back.
Awesome. Great stuff. Okay, so I'm going to have a look through. I'm going to just have a look through the quotes now. In the meantime, we had a question saying, "What advice?" Again, it's a bit general, but would you give what kind of general advice would you give to people who just want to start out acting in the first place? What's the first step, do you think, for them on the road to just getting anywhere?
I think the first is to act, to go and do it. So go and do classes, go and join your local theatre group. Join drama groups, Amdram, things like that. Just do it, I think, and see if you love it still and can kind of hack the pace, because sometimes you're doing 2 shows a night or whatever if you're doing theatre. So I just advise you to do as much as you can, and also it's great for the CV building if you are going to continue. So.
Absolutely, I think it is just a matter of getting out and doing it. Don't think about it. Don't just go, oh, it's something that I'd like to do. I'll get round to it. Just go and do it, and you'll know whether it's right pretty much straight away, won't you? Because you'll just get. I remember that you get that initial kind of, oh my god, I've done my first theatre thing or something like that. Everybody's clapping for me, and this feels quite good. I'm just probably going to do this for a career if I can get paid for it.
Yeah.
It's all very, very nice. Definitely. Let's have a look. So, looking for these quotes. There's some nice quotes. How are we going to choose the best one? Wait, I'm going to leave this to you, Rachel. It's going to be on your head. I've done
I like quotes. I like quotes.
Okay, so Danielle's is what we said a minute ago. Be a human sponge, soak up the world, and fight to make it better. That's pretty beautiful.
Yeah.
It's a nice one. Christina says, it might be the greyest, darkest day you've seen, but beyond those clouds, the sun is always shining.
Quite like that.
It's nice as well, isn't it? That's a good one.
I like that.
Oh, Christina's just tweeted. I thought we had another 2, but actually Christina's just tweeted the same one. So I think maybe people are struggling for quotes. I'm going to give people literally 60 seconds. I'm going to give you till 8:36 to get a quote in now. Otherwise, by default, Christina and Danielle win the posters. Just full stop. Just for being the only people who've tweeted quotes. Tweet us a quote. What other stuff have we got? I'm trying to think of. Be careful what you wish for; it might just come true. Someone said that to me once. So I wish it would.
I live by fail to prepare, prepare to fail. I live
exactly.
By that.
It's not the days in your life; it's the life in your days.
Yes, that's a good one.
That's a nice one, isn't it? That's definitely a good one. Which definitely. It's 8:36 by default. The of the posters are the lovely Christina, who I'm now just going to follow, so make sure I can DM you after this, and Danielle wins a poster as well. I don't know which ones you're going to get, guys. It's going to be completely random, but yeah, I will direct message you, get your address, and we will send those posters off for you that you can put in. Look at them every day, and hopefully inspire you to get up and work and do something. Good stuff. I'm just going to look if there's any last questions before we wrap up. Right, it's been good, hasn't it?
It's been good, yeah. Thank you very much.
It's all right. I mean, this is like the first one. I didn't know how it was going to go. How it's going to go, and if it was going to go wrong, like before when we cut off. But it's been plain sailing. We only cut out once.
So
I don't know why that was. Awesome. We've kind of covered everything there. We've covered. Oh, this was just the last question that someone sent me before as well that I've got on the sheet here. But that was about LA, saying, is there any ambition there to go out to LA? What do you think it'd be like to go to LA though? I mean, because everybody, like literally everybody in that town is an actor, so you can't go into a shop, you can't go into a clothes shop without being served by an actor, or you can't go to a restaurant without being waited on by an actor. Do you think that how long could you spend over there, do you think, a year without going crazy?
Oh, I don't know. If you were working, I reckon quite a long time.
If you were working, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. But everybody that I know that's been to LA, is quite a few of them. A few of my friends, and I have a good friend Victoria Atkin lives in LA, and they have a ball. They say it's lovely and sun shines all the time. So. That's
the thing. Well, that's the thing. One of the member and that's on this, a guy called Jazz Martin. Big shout out to you, Jazz, if you see this, mate. He's done really quite well out in LA, but he was saying one part of it after 6 months of being in the sunshine is that he kind of misses the seasons because there's just no season, so you don't know what time of the year it is. You're going, it's Christmas and it's sunny, it's summer and it's sunny, January it's sunny, it's just sunny all the time. I don't know if that lose its appeal. For now. A couple of quotes have come in. Unfortunately, Tim and Ellie, we've given the prizes away, but I'll read them out anyway. Tim says, keep following the path, the twists and turns, the ups and downs. You never know what's round the corner. Good one, Tim.
Very good.
Good
one,
nice
Tim.
One. Ellie says, forgetting doesn't heal forgiveness, does it? That it may be hard to forgive, but sometimes it's needed so that you can move on. Yeah, always forgive, Ellie. Always forgive and don't give up, basically. That's the key. Life. Good stuff. Well, we've kind of come to the end. I've got to give some massive shout outs to people here that I've written down just so I don't forget, because the people who've made this possible. Massive shout out to Scott Emerton at Rode Mics for supplying us with all the audio equipment. Guys, if you need any, seriously, I'm not just saying this because they've been so good to us, but the reason I approached Rode to work with us in the first place was I was so impressed with their stuff. So if you're an actor and you're working on, you want to make your own short films, or you want to, make some scenes for your show reel, anything like that, Rode Mics, go to www.rodemic.com. Have a look at their gear. It's so affordable, yet it is broadcast quality is absolutely amazing. I bought a tie mic to do some presenting with recently, and was blown away by the quality of it for the price as well. It wasn't particularly expensive. They do loads of great mics that work with your iPhone, your iPad as well, that are really inexpensive, that just make kind of filmmaking a lot more affordable and accessible for people who are kind of starting out and wanting to do their own thing. So yeah, big shout out to you, Scott. Thanks for giving us all the mic stuff. That's amazing, and everybody who needs microphone stuff, get yourself over. Massive shout out to Marielle and Martin and the gang at Casting Networks for giving us the prize, the year's membership. We're going to be doing a year's membership from Casting Networks on every broadcast coming up. So we're going to do one of these a month with not just amazing actors and actresses like the lovely Rachel here, but we're going to have agents on, casting directors, producers, writers, the full shebang, Rach. Everybody, what do you think about that?
It's brilliant. It's the place to be, isn't it? Once a month.
It's the place to be, basically. So massive shout out to Casting Networks. Yeah, big shout out to the team at Startup Vitamins for the posters, and Simon at Clothes to Order. If you're ever doing like a theatre gig or a festival at Edinburgh, something like that, and you need some promotional stuff for your, for your tour that says like, come and see us. These T-shirts. It's kind of been hidden a little bit by the microphone on this broadcast. I apologise about that, Simon. We're from a great company called Clothes to Order. Get to clothetoorder.com. They're fantastic. And yeah, buy like caps and bags and all sorts of stuff from them. They're absolutely brilliant. So, Rach, it's come to the end. We've done 70 minutes. We've done an hour and 10 minutes. So that's kind of in between what we said we would do, an hour and a half. So it's perfect, really.
Yeah.
I really hope everybody has enjoyed this. Like I say, it's something that we just, I've been working on for a while and wanted to do to kind of open up the industry a bit more, give you access to guests who you might not necessarily get access to. And I say in the future, there'll be we've got a great guest on. I can't tell you who it is. It's an actor from Downton Abbey.
He is great.
He is great. Oh, he's going to be on next month. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about him. He's someone you won't have ever seen in Downton Abbey before because it only comes into series 4. He's going to be a big deal. He's going to be on Jonathan Ross, I imagine, but he's also going to be on Ross. Just going to be on this because it's like Jonathan Ross without the Jonathan. So he's going to be probably coming up next month. Then we've got a couple of casting directors. Yeah, we've got a great director who has just directed massive stuff. We're talking huge stuff that will be really interesting to talk to. So just be here. If you're an actor, get yourself over to www.actonthis.tv. Sign up to the community. It's totally free. Just be a part of the community. There's forums there where you can ask questions. There's daily news on there every day of what's being commissioned. There's some premium tools that work out ridiculously cheap. It's like less than $5 a month if you go premium. But you get access to tools that can really help you in your career. You can build your CV. There's a listings directory of all the casting directors. You can search via what shows they've cast if you want to get in touch with them. It just makes it really, really easy to get in touch with people in the industry. There's podcasts that we do. These broadcasts are obviously all going to be available on there as well. So please come and support the community if you can. Get yourself over www.actonthis.tv. If you're not an actor, the community might not be particularly useful for you, but still come and have a look at these broadcasts. You don't need to sign up for membership to the site. Always just check out actonthis.tv/live for the latest information. You can sign up for a newsletter on there as well to be reminded of all the broadcasts that are coming up in the future. Come and be a part of the community. Rachel, have you enjoyed yourself?
Yeah, I have enjoyed myself. Thank you for having me, and thank you for sending all your questions in. I hope it helped.
I'm sure it has, definitely. I think it's just nice to it's a different way to spend your Thursday night, isn't it? It's just nice to to chat with us, definitely. Which is good. I'm just seeing if there's any little tweets from people. People saying, "Well done, guys. Been amazing watch you. Enjoyed it so much."
Oh, thank you.
So that's nice. Claire's impressed with Casting Networks UK. Looks fancy. Check it out, Claire. Seriously, it's really quite cool. And Tina's gone to pick up her eldest son from orchestra rehearsal right now. Thanks both again. What a brilliant interview. Amazing evening. Well, that kind of sums it up for me. It's brilliant. Join us next time. I say it's going to be sometime in October. Get yourself over to www.actonthis.tv/live and keep an eye out for the next broadcast. Until then, have a good night. Rachel, do you want to say anything?
Just thank you for having me, and I hope it helped. And next month will be really good. I know who the guest is, and it'll be brilliant.
Exactly. Well, we're going to tell you about that very soon, so keep an eye out. And Rachel, make sure you're here watching.
Yes, I will be. Thank you for having me.
Good stuff. Right, we're going to sign off, guys, but we'll see you next time. The recording of this will be available on the website sometime tomorrow or Saturday, so keep an eye out for that. I'll send everybody emails who's on our email list to let you know. Have a great evening. Speak to you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.